Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Steve Larsen. You're listening to Sales of Funnel Radio.
Welcome to Sales Funnel Radio, where you'll learn marketing strategies to grow your online business using today's best internet sales funnels. And now, here's your host, Steve Larsen.
Hey, what's going on? This is the second part of my mass Q&A kind of segment. This is a segment of the show I called HeySteve. I haven't done one in a long time, so I'm doing part 2 right now because there were so many questions stacked up. I want to make sure that I get to a lot of the questions that are out there. So I had to break it up into 2 different sections, and even then I'm still leaving a lot of questions behind just because they didn't fit for the broad listener, you know what I mean? So I want to get into details, but at the same time, we got a lot of people listening now. So I was laughing because so we just moved into this house about 6 weeks ago, and it was right before spring started, and there's a whole bunch of stuff we want to do in the backyard. And I did sprinkler systems for a while. It was one of my summer jobs growing up, and we didn't have a trencher, so I'd hand dig massive trenches for sprinklers, and anyways, it was a lot of fun, which a lot of people might be confused when I say that, but it is. I like working with my hands. I like working outside. So one of the things I was excited about owning a house for was the fact that we were going to get to do yard work, which, again, I know a lot of you guys might be like, dude, you're weird, but I don't care, man. Like, it's fun. There's a therapeutic aspect to yard work for me. And so I was excited about it, and it's summer now. Like it's been raining a lot, but that's kind of slowed down. It's gotten really hot. It's time for me to turn the sprinklers on and get the sprinkler system up and going. And so I went and I was like, cool, I've done this before. And for some reason, I could not figure out how to turn on our dumb sprinkler system and get it running. And I was like, I did this for a while. Like, I hand dug these things. Why am I not figuring this thing out? And luckily, at the same time, there was this company at our neighbor's house here who had lawn guys there, and they were doing sprinkler stuff. And I walked over and I was like, hey, where is this like a special kind of, like the normal places that I look on houses that turn water on, things like that? It's not there. I don't know where it is. And he's like, okay, well, give me a little bit and I'll come help. So after a little while, they rang on the doorbell and they came over, and I was like, hey, sweet, awesome. We went to the backyard, and in like 3 seconds they found it. And I was like, oh, sweet. Well, I'm totally willing to pay. Like, I'm not here to just freeload on anybody. So I paid him, and it was awesome. And they did a walk through the entire sprinkler system. Well, there's this whole section that we want to go resod, and I've been pulling out tons of weeds that were as high as me, and you couldn't even see the fence. There's so many of them. So I've been like de-shrubbing, de-weeding, doing a whole bunch of stuff. And when I saw that they were literally sodding the neighbors' ground, I had to ask. I was like, hey, how much is it to for you guys to come sod? Just so I just know. I had to ask the dude, like, oh my gosh, I had to ask the guy probably 6 or 7 times. I was like, hey, how much is it to do this? He's like, oh, it's really, really expensive right now. And I was like, okay, like, I'm asking how much is it? He's like, oh, well, it's like $140 per pallet of sod. I was like, oh, it's not bad at all. Like, it's more the time thing. I don't want to go spend the time to do it. I'd rather spend time with my family or building a product or what, something. I like doing yard work, but I don't, that'd take me like 2 or 3 Saturdays, and I am moving way too fast right now to spend the kind of time to do that. And I had to ask this guy, like, that was not the first time that I asked him to please sell me your thing. Like, I asked him several times, hey, how does this work? How much is that? How much is that? And we walk in the backyard and there's all these blank spots. Like, why did you not put 2 and 2 together and try and freaking close me? Like, I'm walking around holding a checkbook, I didn't know how else to pay him. So I was like, oh, anyway, it drives me nuts. Like, when people are asking you buying questions, you guys know the difference between like a normal question and then there's buying questions, right? Questions are questions. Like, other questions, there's just questions. Hey, how are you guys doing? Like, this is a normal question. There's a whole bunch of different questions out there. But the buying questions are questions that turn into the questions where they start to put themselves in a scenario mentally where they see themselves owning or doing or being the thing that you have. Hopefully that made sense what I just said. But the moment they switch into this mode of like, I could see myself doing that, or gosh, I really wish that we could do that. Like, how does that not throw red flags up going like, well, hey, shoot, if you want, like, I mean, we do this for you. I mean, is this something that you're wanting done? Here, why don't you just show me what you got going on in the backyard? Like, you know what I mean? Anyway, I love being sold. And so I critique the process like crazy, especially since I was the door-to-door sales guy for a bit, and I did telemarketing, and I did, I like sales. I don't necessarily like it that much face-to-face. I'd rather automate it through marketing online now, but it at least taught me the principles of what to look for and what to do online. And anyway, sorry for the little side rant, but it made me laugh so hard because finally he's like, well, it cost you maybe $1,500, $1,600 for us to do this and put these things in. I was like, great, cool. Like, just tell me, like, what? I seriously, I asked him, he didn't say anything. He just kind of started like walking away, and I was like, hello? And I didn't know that he was like looking at what we have. He just kind of I don't even know how to describe it. He just kind of came back and was like, well, maybe I blatantly had to ask the guy at least 4 times, how much money is it to do this? And I don't know if it's, anyway, whatever. But don't do that, okay? If someone's asking you questions and they're you can tell that they've switched into buying questions, man, just start closing them. They're asking you to sell them. They may not even know it, but what they want is they want you to answer their problem, which is your product. Anyway, so let me get back to this. So this is part 2. This episode is part 2 of the mass Q&A that I've been doing. I got another 3 or 4 questions lined up for you guys in this one. They're great questions. Anyway, so I'm going to dive right in here. Go person by person. I'm going to play your message, and then I'll give you my response on how I would do that, or do, please know, I don't know. I feel like I should put a disclaimer in this sometimes, like, please know that I'm not a lawyer and this is not legal advice, and please, you know what I mean? But, I'm going to answer right now as to how I would do it, or how I am doing it, or how we have done, the thing that you're asking about. So anyways, hopefully that helps. Let me jump right here. All right, hey, the next question here is coming from TJ.
Hey, Steve, just wanted to follow up with you and ask you about a funnel that you mentioned that you did for a school to automate fundraising. Just wondering if you've ever covered that in any of your podcasts, or if you're willing to basically just touch on a funnel for a nonprofit or school to automate fundraising. This is Tamar, also known as TJ. We met at AdCon 2017. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks.
Hey man, great question here. Yep, there's a few funnels that I've done that for. One of the funnels that I wanted to prove myself with, this is a few years ago actually, was a funnel for, it was a mud run that we were doing. I'm in the Army, and we were trying to do some fundraising for this. It's called the Fisher House Foundation, and the Fisher House Foundation is it's a foundation that collects money so that when a soldier gets wounded, they can fly the family of the soldier to whatever hospital the soldier was taken to, and take care of them, and lodging and food and stuff like that. It's really, really cool. Anyway, that was an awesome one. So what we did is we're like, hey, what, we had a commander at the time, and he's like, hey, why don't you do X, Y, and Z? Let's put the stuff together. And I started telling him, like, sir, like, I got this skill that I've been developing, and I'm getting quite good at it. And why don't we do like a little fundraising thing? And what you could do is, basically have upsells and things like that. You know what I mean? Anyway, it was basically an event funnel, and the first page of the funnel was a page that basically said, hey, we're going to do a 5K mud run. It was really fun. We had a fire pit. People jumped over. It was a mud run. People, Army crawled through this massive vat of mud. We clothed them in like all this body armor, and they ran through thick forest with all these smoke bombs and massive like artillery sim rounds going off around them. It was really fun. It was awesome. But we ended up raising $7,000, and we had 650 people come. We had the news come several times. It was awesome. Got interviewed. And anyways, it was great. It was a great experience. And so anyways, it's cool because we first found something that was cool and attractive. It was a mud run near a campus. So a lot of people were already like, hey, already excited. Next thing we did, though, is we tied more meaning to it by telling them the story of what the money was going towards. And that got it shared like crazy, and that's what got us on the news. And the next thing we did is we went and we started doing a raffle as well. That was really, we raffled off like AR-15s and other various stuff. And it was really cool. And then we started going to all these local businesses, and we're like, hey, we're about to do this event. Do you want to come, just be there? And, just as far as value for the person who's there, we don't care that you're there. We don't care that you self-promote. Like, just come have a good time. And it was really fun. We got other recruiters there, and we got all these big blow-up things, and looked like a fair. It was a huge production, and it was amazing. It went so well. Anyway, it's just great. It was a really good experience. So it was just an event funnel. It was 2 pages. I wish I could tell you that it was more complicated than it was. All I did was when somebody came in, it told them about what it was. There was a sweet video that we shot. In fact, I might have I don't know if the page is still up or if I still own the URL, but I still have the funnel and the video and all that stuff. That was really, really cool. And then we just said, hey, buy your ticket now. Ticket prices go up in X amount of time. And we did a countdown clock, and we said, hey, there's early bird pricing. And then the price went up. Then I went and got into the school newspaper and website and all this other stuff, and I got its name dropped all over the place. And the word got spread. And that's really all we did. It really wasn't that much work. There's more work on actually setting up the course itself and all the things that we had to do. It was super fun. All these hay bales you had to go jump over, and all these massive towers to go climb, and it was just a cool experience. And we did that. It was great. The other one, I think I know what the one you're referencing though. So I've built for several fundraising style companies. One was Flex Watches that got on, that TV show, The Profit. I built 11 funnels for that. The day of the show that it was going national. It's a long story behind that, but it was crazy. They turned out so well. And that was honestly just a normal tripwire funnel with some upsells and downsells. What's funny is it's still a funnel. Don't think that because, what's the fundraising funnel style? Well, it's the same thing as any other kind of funnel. You just change the message to let people know, hey, this is for fundraising. The thing that I was teaching on stage to all those DECA kids, it was DECA asked me to come. I don't know if it was DECA directly or like a contractor, but anyway, I ended up speaking on DECA. There was 3,000 kids at an event. They asked me to come teach on stage and teach them how to automate the fundraising for their school and their DECA programs. And all I did is there was a company that said, hey, we'd like to donate all of the water bottles, all the materials, all the whatever it is that you're going to put inside that funnel. We're going to donate them, and we'll just put our logo on them, and there'll be a portion of the profits that get sent over back to the DECA. And I was like, sweet. You guys realize that you're going to automate your fundraising? Like, who likes going door to door? Like, not that many people. And I was like, here's how you can do it. How many of you guys have been going to door? What's the strategy you guys have been collecting money? Oh, door to door. Okay. Well, you should probably listen then, And I went through and I showed them. Basically, it was a tripwire funnel. It was a free plus shipping water bottle that they got with like a cool logo on there that had a cool story behind it. And then the next thing was like an upsell for 2 of them. The next thing was like an upsell for something else. The next thing was an upsell. And there's like 2 or 3 upsells, like a normal tripwire funnel. And all it was a normal product. It looked like a normal product funnel. And then we just changed the messaging so people knew, hey, here is a super cool, product, but at the same time, there's a cool message and meaning behind these things that we're doing. So anyways, hopefully that helps. Don't overthink it. It's just a normal funnel. You just change the messaging and tell people why you're doing what you're doing. And that was it. And it, super cool. I mean, they work well. All right. Hey, the next question here comes from Myson Jones.
Hey, Steve, it's Myson Jones here, and a quick question about contracting. On page 46 of .com Secrets, Russell talks about the entrepreneur's role and how he should be or she should be a contractor, not the person putting up the sheetrock or framing the house. My question for you is, have you hired from freelancer.com on more than a project basis? For me personally, I can build the majority of my funnels, except for the graphics portion and some little minute details and custom portions. And I want to move a lot faster, like I said, and have help with that. But instead of waiting for a week in a contest on freelancer.com, I would like to have a day or 2 days turnaround time. Do you have any suggestions? Would you suggest Upwork? And if so, what kind of language would you use in the job description to make sure that I attract the right kind of person to help build these funnels faster? Thanks for your answer, man, and be blessed.
Hey, dude. So yeah, I got a few. I definitely have some anyway, I've got some opinions on this. All right, so when you're first starting out, I understand the need to do things on your own because you have no cash flow or very little cash flow. And so the thing that we always stand by, we always tell people to do is hire when it hurts. Don't just jump out and start grabbing people just because other people are saying to. It's like when people say, diversify your portfolio. It's like, you don't do it just for the sake of doing it. Focus on one thing, you know, you do it when it makes sense. You know what I mean? I know you know what I mean. But anyway, so as far as freelancer tactics, you know, hire when it hurts. I know you said you don't like the 7-day contest thing, but my gosh, it is one of the coolest strategies. And if you take the time to do it, you'll find some of the rock stars who are the VAs that just are amazing. I recommend Freelancer. I've used Upwork a little bit. I've used Fiverr a lot. I've used Freelancer a lot. Those are the main ones that I've used and that I still use. I got a surprise here soon for all you guys. I'll have to show you guys here soon. But I had a guy in Lebanon code something for me that is so cool. Anyway, in a future episode here, I'll tell you guys to go get it, and it's awesome. But anyway, it totally makes fun of our competitors. Russell's dying. You guys will see it on his vlog here soon. Hopefully you guys have been following his vlog on YouTube. Anyway, side tangent, over. All right, so with freelancer tactics, just for those of you guys who don't know, the thing that I like to do and the thing I like to recommend is to create a contest. And you know, it doesn't have to be 7 days. You can do it in 3 days. But then inside Freelancer, what you do is you make the contest boosted. You can boost it, and it'll stay in front of all the freelancers. More like it'll invite the good ones. It'll stay on top of all their feed, you know, so all the freelancers are seeing your thing. So I always do that. I always press yes on those options. Not all of them, otherwise you spend like an extra $100. But I go through and I choose the ones that like highlight, you know, feature, you know, ping the very top freelancers, you know, stuff like that. And then what I do is I sit back and I create that contest. And I wait usually like 2 or 3 days, and I wait to see. There's always, like, please be aware that I'm trying to be sensitive right here, but there's always a huge number of people that that will spam back to you tons of responses and try and get you to hire them. All the time. You got to be aware of that, okay? The moment that and you can always tell when it happens, because the moment you submit some contest or the moment you submit a job out there, you're going to get a lot of people who just immediately respond to you, and you're like, okay, there's no way you even read the details or saw the video that I shot to tell you how to do it or what I need done. There's no way. And you're already begging me. It's like, okay, those are spam.com comments. So I always wait like 2 or 3 days to wait for all those to leave, and I see who the really hungry people are. And I go through and I read carefully each one of them, and I try to view and measure intentions, and I try and measure what they want and what they're trying to do. Anyway, it works. It works really, really well when I do that. Then the next thing I do is I will go delete out all the ones that I know there are the immediate no's, you know, like and again, trying to be sensitive here, but like, I only speak English, and so if they don't, if I can't understand them, how am I going to do the project? You know what I mean? And so I go out and I delete out all the ones that I don't, I know that I won't be able to work with, regardless if they could get it done really well. I can't talk to them, so it's going to be a hard thing. So anyway, then I create the contest and I go launch the contest, and then I publicly criticize the comments. And you know, you can set your comments to public. I'm actually pretty harsh, and I go through and I publicly criticize every single submission, you know, as I do the contest. So for a second I was talking about contests, and also for a second I was talking about hiring like specific people. For one task, one person for one task. So I go through and I vet out all the individuals that are like, okay, I just know I can't work with you. But if it's a contest, then what I do is I make sure the thing's featured and I put it out there. And I'll go and I publicly criticize the comments, because all the other people who are submitting can see them. And when that starts to happen, I will take $100. I just did this, and I was like, okay, I got a cool idea for a logo, but I want to see what other people can come up with also. And so how I did it is I went out to freelancer.com, and I was like, hey, here's $100. Whoever wins can get it. And I got 323 submissions over 7 days, and I was very active. All I do is just once per day during that week, I just log in real quick. I publicly criticize what I like and don't like on each one of them, and then I come back as just piece by piece by piece, and basically the submissions start to improve. The quality goes up by about day 3, 4, or 5. And then you'll start to see who is immediately following you. And I'm like, hey, I really want this though, and, an hour later, there's all these other submissions with the exact thing that you asked for. And you're like, okay, I'm starting to see who the rock stars are. So I know it kind of stinks a little bit to go like, gosh, that takes a week to do it. But honestly, my speed has increased like crazy as I do that. I now know who exactly to go for great voiceovers. And I use them over and over now with the same tactics. The great guy, I know several people who are very, very good at graphics. People who are very good with some video stuff. People are very good, you know what I mean? And the parts that need to be creative that I'm not personally creative at, those are the kinds of things. I mean, I will make up projects just to go find who those people are and find the rock stars. So anyway, that I still would do that, and just know that 7 days is going to do great things for you in the future. So, and just make a list of them, keep a list of them, and let them know, hey, you know what I do also to increase all the submissions is I say inside the project details for the contest, hey, you know what? If this works out, I would love to think about doing some future stuff with you. And because I have more projects that need to be done, I just want to see who really wants this. And it's like, poof, these people go crazy. They get out there, they're like, oh my gosh, I want this so bad. It's really, really fun when that happens, because there's some ferocity, and you can tell that they want it, and they get out there and they really start crushing it. Okay, so what do you do though if you need to hire somebody internally as well? Like I just got a guy who's doing amazing with support, and what I do is I find the people who would work for me for free. I find the people who want to be doing things with my brand so strongly that they're willing to do things for me for free. And it's not that I'm not going to pay them. I just need to know that they believe in the message, that they believe in my mission. They believe exactly what I'm trying to do and accomplish before money. Because I've gone a long time without getting paid before just to get this up and going. That's not true anymore at all. But you know what I mean? And I got to know, do you really want to be in this? Because I move at a crazy pace, and I need you to do the same, and I need you know what I mean? So what I do is I wait. There's always people who will reach out and go, hey, what can I help you with? And the people who do that, who don't ask for money, I can tell they're genuine, I say, hey, that's so nice of you, I appreciate it. And I say nothing back to them. Well, the ones who reach back out and say, hey, I'm being serious, I really want to work with you. Then I go, okay, hey, that's really, really awesome. What kind of thing do you see yourself doing? I don't want to take you out from something if you know that you're really good at a certain certain thing. Tell me what your superpower is. And if they keep coming back at me, well, I'm this. Like, cool. And please take what I'm about to say also with a grain of salt. I don't give them something crappy on purpose, but I give them a task that is not easy, that is challenging, because I need to see how they'll react to it. It's a test. It's totally a test. I'm doing this with one guy right now, and he is killing it. And I'm absolutely loving working with him. He's so, so cool. But he's done this. He's grabbed my attention by giving value first. And I can tell you, I can't wait to the time for my next project to come up, because I want to hire the guy. I'm going to do it. So long as, everything keeps going awesome with him. So I'm actually the weak link in this relationship now. He's dancing circles around me, getting all the stuff done that I didn't even know that I should be doing. Like that kind of guy. So anyway, hey, let me jump to the next question here. All right.
Hey, Steve, this is Matt Capel. I have a question for you. I wanted to see if you could teach us all how to do a ninja way to do a favicon icon, so we could import that and use that into our funnels and ClickFunnels. I figured you're the guy that could teach us how to do that. Thanks so much.
Hey, what's up, Matt? Thanks so much for the question. I'm laughing because Russell always makes fun of me for how much I love favicons. I just hate it when there's at the top of the page in the tab there's just like, there's either nothing up there and then just a whole bunch of words, or there's like that blank piece of paper, little icon. And it's funny, he'll send me some funnel sometimes, be like, dude, what do you think's wrong with this funnel? And I'll write back, dude, there's no favicon. That's why the whole page isn't converting well. It'd be like, whatever. Like, that's not it. Anyway, they do nothing for conversions. I don't think so. Well, they might a little bit. I feel like they do for authority. When you actually see a favicon, or you see something up there, you see logos. Like, again, logos, they do nothing for conversion. They're just for our own egos. But I like it as far as keeping the same branding on the page. So honestly, they don't matter that much, but for me, what I do is I will go into Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop, and all I do is I create a 40 pixel by 40 pixel, so it's wicked tiny, 40 pixel by 40 pixel. And what I do is Favicons are something I make after logos, so I'll go grab whatever icon or something like that is inside of the actual logo. I'll grab the logo and put it inside of the 40 by 40 pixels. And the name of the game on Favicons is simplicity. Just, you got to be so simple with them. Don't try and have more than like one letter, or a couple letters. If you are doing letters, and if you do, it's got to be really, really simple. Second thing is that make them transparent backgrounds so that it doesn't export. You got to export them as a PNG, and then upload them. If you click on settings up in the top right inside of your ClickFunnels account, and then you'll click on digital assets. If you upload it as a digital asset and then right click on the download button, copy the link address, and you can actually go paste it inside of a Favicon area underneath like the funnel settings. Hopefully that makes sense. I usually don't get too technical inside a podcast because some of you guys who have never used ClickFunnels are like, what the heck is he talking about? He just totally lost me. And so anyways, that's what I do though. Keep them very simple, transparent background, 40 pixels by 40 pixels. And I usually just make it out of the logo, a smaller version of it or something like that. So when you do it to a funnel inside of ClickFunnels, it does it to every page. You don't have to do it to each page individually. It'll globally do it to the pages inside of that funnel. So anyways, great question, man. Next one.
Hey, Steve, this is Grant Tanner. Question is for the podcast that I started listening to. Good work. Question is, I have a client who is trying to drive traffic to her website and get people to sign up for her digital magazine. It's actually a print magazine as well, but the whole point of her website is to drive subscriptions to a magazine. So it's kind of a model that I'm having a hard time figuring out a good sales model to try to drive people to a certain landing page. What sales funnel do I use to get people interested in signing up for a magazine subscription, essentially? Wanted to get your thoughts. Thanks. Bye.
Hey, what's up, Grant? Hey, great question. Honestly, I get that question more frequently than you would expect. Not so much on magazines themselves, but on selling continuity right out of the gate. That's not an easy thing to do, and it's actually something that I usually don't suggest. Not that you can't do it, but personally, I don't do that. The reason is because when you... It is easier to sell a $5,000 one-time thing than it is to sell a monthly continuity $60 a month thing. You know what I mean? You just... I don't know how should I say this? The mind is so funny because if we just ask for $5,000 one time on a high ticket thing, a lot of times people are going to be like, yeah, sure, I'll go ahead and do that because I have $5,000 right now. But if I start to say, hey, you know what? It's going to be a couple $100s every month indefinitely. Immediately there's this long, because it's associated with time, work, immediately becomes the secondary motion that comes in the side of it. So I don't typically suggest that you go and sell magazine subscriptions right off the bat. But if you are, which you are, and that's great. So this is what I would do. If you've ever seen Funnel University, model how we do that. It's very strategic. Every single time we offer anything continuity based ever, it is always with something else. Like this. Okay. Magazines, who does this? Sports Illustrated does this. Have you ever seen this like TV infomercials or whatever? They're talking about Sports Illustrated magazine. You don't just get the magazine when you actually get a subscription set up, do you? What you do is you actually get a clock. A football clock. You actually get an actual football with someone's fake signature on it. Then you get this. You get a blanket. Then you'll get a foam finger. Then you'll get, you know what I mean? They make an offer out of it. If you're selling straight just subscription, it's very, very challenging. It's hard to do it. Watch how Frank Kern sells his memberships. Watch how Russell sells ClickFunnels. Watch how it's always bundled with something else. And what's funny about that, especially when the subscription-based product is actually digital, they always ship something physical. That's the pattern. That's the model. That's how we do it. And so when you go back and you start looking at how that whole thing actually works, like, don't think in terms of how can I just sell magazines. turn the thing into an offer and be like, how can I sell something physical that they get in the mail when they get a magazine subscription, right? The magazine subscription also, we don't sell it. We don't sell subscription as the main thing. We give it away as a bonus. When you get ClickFunnels or when you get the Funnel Hacks course, I'm going to give you Funnel Hacks, but I'm also, just as a thank you, I'm going to give you 6 months free of ClickFunnels, right? That's how Russell does it. When you go and you get this clock and football and foam finger or whatever, then we're going to give you 3 months free on your subscription to Sports Illustrated magazine, right? They give away the physical thing. When you get the physical thing, they give you as a bonus the continuity thing, which is really what they want you to buy. Does that make sense? That's how I would do it. That is how we do it. And so a Funnel University usually would cost us like $120 out of the gate, typically. In ad spend just to get somebody to join. That's the numbers when I saw it a long time ago, so I don't know what they are now, but it's a lot of money just to get one person you don't even know if they're going to stay that long. And so how do you actually recoup that cost? Well, first we have them we actually sell the package of the other stuff. We sell the offer, not the subscription. Does that make sense? When you do it that way, you're profitable off the bat far faster. So anyways, hopefully that helps. Guys, this has been a long podcast. I had to break this into 2 different episodes because there's so many questions and I still didn't get to about 10 of them. If you want to keep asking questions, go for it. I just make sure that the ones that I put on here are not so particular to your business, so that they'll be advantageous for everyone to hear. So if you don't hear a question on there, please don't get offended. Just know that sometimes the question may not be advantageous for the whole group. So anyway, thanks so much, guys. Thanks so much for listening to Sales Funnel Radio. And anyway, super excited for all the great things going. There's so many awesome things going on here. Go get the free website funnel that I created if you want at salesfunnelbroker.com. I also have a whole bunch of free funnels there you can go download, and a whole bunch of little helps as well. That's literally the entire reason I built that entire thing. I do broker funnels, but not that often anymore. So I should probably change the name of that place sometime. But anyways, guys, thanks so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Sales Funnel Radio. Please remember to subscribe and leave feedback. Want to get one of today's best internet sales funnel for free? Go to salesfunnelbroker.com/free funnels to download your pre-built sales funnel today.